Carolina Panthers just wrapped up their third practice of training camp on Back Together Saturday. Unfortunately, fans were not there. We are here to get you caught up on all the latest news. Let's go.
Brace yourself for the ultimate Carolina Panthers experience. Welcome to Two Growls, One Roar, the podcast that hits harder than a Luke Kuechly tackle. We're diving deep into the heart of Panther Nation, bringing you unrivaled passion, insider takes, and pure gridiron fire. From Wilmington to the cosmos, this is your home for the fiercest football talk east or west of Charlotte.
Welcome in, folks, to another edition of the Two Growls, One Roar podcast on a very hot, sunny summer day in North Carolina. We are out on the coast, and I got to tell you, it's toasty, feels like 100+ degrees, and it was like that today in Charlotte from all the reports that we got with the media. So we are just completed the third official practice for the Carolina Panthers and training camp. As we know, fans are not in attendance this year. So any of the reports and information that we get are going to be from our reporters, beat writers, and awesome, of course, news channels and awesome folks that cover this team. Now, Panthers.com is going to skew a little bit in the direction of, being in favor of some of the opinions and outlooks on the team. You do have your Athletics and ESPN, Charlotte Observer, Charlotte Post, and of course our independent folks, Carolina Blitz, Keep Blitz, and all that to keep you up to date. But I got to tell you, man, it's early, and it is unfortunate that we do not get fans in attendance, because it is nice from the creator side of the world to hear exactly what is going on at training camp from folks like me and the other awesome folks out there in the land of Carolina Panthers content creation. It would be great if they expanded this, even just for a day, invited some of us folks down, but at least for now, that's not the case. So we go off of what we see through clips. How much do you make of that? I don't know, but we decipher it, go through it, and then we get all the reports and tidbits of information that comes through and is reported out. So we have a very limited scope. We'll continue to have this limited scope until we, of course, get into the preseason. Well, we will finally actually get to see some football from the Carolina Panthers. That being said, a week from now, FanFest at Bank of America Stadium. I think ticket count is low. It's only $5. I don't know if they're going to open up more tickets, but it looked like it was going to be a sellout, at least technically on paper, by the number of tickets sold. But that is an opportunity for you to go there, see a cool show, see a practice, and I'm sure they're going to be excited to have fans in attendance. I know the Panthers social team has been putting out a bunch of videos, all that good stuff. Today we wrapped up practice. Like we said, it was toasty, man. They were using the big refrigerator cooler quite a few times, getting into the shade as much as possible. I mean, 92 degrees, but then feeling like 100 is nothing to play with, especially when you're out there going full speed, drenched in sweat. Thing does not get easy. But folks, we're going to get you up to date now. Following today's practice, we got to hear from Derek Brown, who's missed a few days for personal reasons. Just found out he had another baby, his fourth, so congratulations to him. Heard from Dave Canales and then JT Sanders. And JT Sanders sounds like the new diet that he's on was via a chef he met at FedEx. I don't know if it was a FedEx store. I don't know the ins and outs of how they actually met, but he does have a new dietitian. He's not ready to give that dietitian information out to other folks on the team just yet. He's keeping it close to the vest. So if you are potentially looking for one from your side. Anyways, folks, we're going to get right into this. Let's get you a recap. Training camp, first 5 days in the book. We will go through, for those of you that are watching on YouTube or Spotify, and talk through the timeline, some of the big stories from each of the first 5 days. And I mean, we're counting, of course, the first 3 practices, the first day of reporting, and then yesterday, which was a walkthrough day. We'll talk about everything. Biggest thing, if you are new to this and haven't followed along in this series, it's the stability and optimism that surrounds the Carolina Panthers with, first time since 2019 that the Panthers have the same head coach, GM, and quarterback heading into a season. And we're going to talk about quarterback play in just a second with Bryce Young, but that is a big piece of why people are excited. We heard from Dan Morgan about his earn it mentality. We have to earn everything we get this year. And then there's not really expectations right now on this team. You hear from Canales, you hear from Dan Morgan, no expectations for the P word playoffs. It's more of a let's just see what we can do with what we have. And of course, the big youth movement, which today, as we got through practice, sounds like Tetairoa McMillan was locked down a few times by Mike Jackson. So that's some positive news. It does feel like in this camp that the defense has definitely stepped up. And when we talk about interceptions, and I posted this, and we got this youth movement that's happening right now. But when we talk about the Carolina Panthers, for me personally, when we start talking about the interceptions, the turnovers, I'm okay with the defense being ahead, and that's usually the case. I want the defense to be ahead of our offense, especially with how we finished last year, the way we looked last year. I want this defense to be lights out. And if that means we have a few more turnovers in practice, if that means they dominate one end and offense dominates every now and then, so be it. We did hear today with Dave Canales stopping practice that there was a period where the offense hands down won and a period where the defense won. So you do have that competitive battle happening. I gotta say, I think one of the names that's really sticking out to a lot of people has to be Princely Umanmielen. And my gosh, we heard about it. We'll go through the timeline in a minute, but we heard about him on the first day or one of the earlier days in training camp here, getting pressure, getting to Bryce Young. We'll talk about all that in a second. But doing it again, following like this guy is wreaking havoc. He's doing it against Ike Ekwonu. He even went on, and I don't know what streaming service he was on, but he was on a streaming service last night talking about Ike Ekwonu and that fans should not be worried. He more or less said he is him, speaking of himself, and that, like, hey, he's one of the best in the league, or he plans to be one of the best in the league. So maybe you feel a little bit of confident there. All right, let's go down. Breaking really the start of all this. Day one, which wasn't an actual practice, but everyone's getting there. Veterans reporting. We're going to go through the transaction wire at the very end. We'll talk through the player spotlight, position battles, roster watch, all those things as we get through this. So day one, foundation and first impressions. Again, earning it in camp. Focus on Bryce Young. A lot of high praise from Robert Hunt and his confidence around him. And veteran linebacker Josie Jewell, who was released due to concussion symptoms in the concussion protocol. Its thing just kind of was extending out. So we'll see if he does make a return, but hope that he is safe and well. Quite a few players placed on the PUP non-football injury list. Tommy Trimble, a few others, Bobby Brown. Let's say the PUP and NFI non-football injury list. We'll look at that towards the end. Hopefully trending in a positive direction for all these guys to be available for week one. And Robert Hunt's quote on Bryce Young said he's talented as hell. He's a great leader for us. He did drop a few, I guess, S-bombs, which is kind of funny during his presser, and apologized for it. Day two, a lot of highs and lows, really opening things up. First practice here for Carolina Panthers. Bryce Young had a lot of ups and downs. Did have a passing touchdown to David Moore, an interception. Seen a lot of positive news around Damani Richardson and his ability at the safety position. Like we talked about, Princely Umanmielen had a strip sack on Young, leading to a teachable moment. A lot of people were up in arms. Oh my gosh, don't hit my quarterback. Don't do this. Then find out on day three when Canales comes back that they watched the film and he didn't do anything wrong. But Princely, man, is making it happen. The competition underway, man. Kicking competition with Matthew Wright going 4 for 5 on his first day. And then the Panthers making some transactions, signing Trey Swilling, cornerback, and then waiving Ethan Garbers. And then Dave Canales on protecting the quarterback before he knew the ins and outs said we have to be smart at the top of the rush. We have to take care of each other, which leads us to day 3, the second practice for the Carolina Panthers. Defensive flashes continue to happen. A lot of progress with the rookies. Rookie wide receiver Tetairoa McMillan continue to impress in his matchup against J.C. Horn. We know this back and forth between these two is going to be pivotal for the Panthers' success this year. And the kicking battle, Ryan Fitzgerald matched Wright's 4 for 5 performance. Have not heard an update as I record this today, but we're going to keep tabs on that. Dave Canales emphasized that this could carry on into the preseason for a few games, so we'll see. like we said, the film review exonerated Princely from his hit on Young. And again, saw some continued development by Princely. I mean, this guy may be special. A lot of folks are high on Scorton. You think about Pat Jones leading the way. We're going to talk about, actually, yeah, his interception right now on the second practice. I posted it online, and this is where people are like, are you worried about interceptions? Are you worried about this from Bryce Young? I'm not. And then go look at JJ Watt's post. We've talked about it a little bit, but it's training camp. I don't care about the stats or any of that. The struggles, let's get them all out. Dave Canales on the matchup with J.C. Horn and McMillan said, when you bring your best, you bring out the best in the guy across from you. And that's what the Carolina Panthers are going to get every day. Yesterday, they did not have an official practice. It wasn't open to the media. They did have some media availability for a few guys, Adam Thielen, Trayvon Merrick yesterday. So we did get to hear bits and pieces from them. It was a slow day. They had some walk through, some recovery, and again, getting prepared for today. Know that Derek Brown is back in the fold. Safety Trayvon Merrick talked about his role on defense. Someone said, what would you categorize yourself as? And he said, not a safety, but a defensive back with his ability to play anywhere in the secondary and getting into the box. Panthers continued their additions and subtractions, bringing in J.J. Weaver and Mello Dotson. There were a few, of course, transactions corresponding to that, most notably Amari Barno, former draft pick for the Carolina Panthers, no longer here, which is surprising because he had surgery, then he was ruled as healthy, and then he's let go. Trayvon Merrick's quote on the defense said, it's been a really detailed camp so far. I'm excited for what this camp can do. Leading into day 5, and it was limited with, again, what we can see, but day 5 is in the books. It is back together weekend. Actually, yesterday was the second interception from Bryce Young. He's had a few interceptions during camp, but that's all good. We are seeing a lot of leadership in the by the veterans on this team, and the position battles continue at center, wide receiver, kicker. No guarantee on the number of wide receivers or safeties that are going to be kept on this roster. But as we continue to say, what you can do on the backside is really what's going to help you. Between Austin Corbett and Cade Mays, which we'll talk about position battles here in a second, it's back and forth. So no true leader in the clubhouse right now. You know, I initially thought that Cade Mays may be the leader. Austin Corbett possibly getting a nod. So let's talk about a few player spotlights heading into the first few days coming up on will be a week. Bryce Young still continuing to focus on that late season progress, confidence and leadership. You know, everyone's praising his talent and command of the offense. Has had some up and downs, a few interceptions, but I'm confident in who Bryce Young can be this year. He said this camp is for us to forge our identity and create the confidence we want to see during the season. Probably one of the most notable rookies on this team, Tetairoa McMillan, has had some consistent highlights, a handful of catches. I mean, it's ridiculous to see some of the stuff he's doing and the ease that he's been able to do it at. As we talked about, Dave Canales saying that facing Horn teaches him how to get in position against a really big, strong, fast corner, which he is. And probably the story of camp so far, in my opinion, it's early, has to be Princely Umanmielen. And honestly, Hunter Renfrow, probably another story as well, which if I don't have him on our list, which I don't, we'll talk about him in a second. After that controversial strip sack on Young in early practice, film review, like we said, exonerated him, showing he was trying to avoid contact. He continues to have a quick first step and effective pass rush. Now, as Dave Canales said, his ability to affect the passer is exactly why he's here. We know that in this period, it favors the defense. Once you get on pads, like we said, and the offense has a little something to hold on to, defense probably slows down a little bit. Pat Jones II, again, stand out on defense, had a nice play on the interception. Coverage skills, turning a few heads there. Trayvon Merrick, of course, the versatile player that he is, the defensive back. I mean, my gosh. I will tell you, if you are watching Panther Social, there was a clip today from practice where he went one-on-one at the line with Hunter Renfrow, and Hunter Renfrow cooked him. that's not a bad thing for Merrick because, like, he's probably not going to be covering a lot of guys in the slot one-on-one like that and man coverage. But I do think it goes to show where Hunter Renfrow is probably going to fit into this mix. And I think we want to shoe in that Adam Thielen is your starter because of the relationship he has with Bryce Young and his ability. But I'm telling you, man, Hunter Renfrow could be the one that steps up into the slot as the season goes on, especially given the potential injuries that could pop up for Adam and his age. But we'll see. It's an exciting time for Panthers to have these battles. And J.C. Horn continues to showcase his abilities, and Mike Jackson too. A lot of good news there. We talked about the center position battle between Austin Corbett and Cade Mays. Again, it's a rotation of where those guys fit in. The wide receiver battle is in the thick of it. I mean, I don't know where the Panthers are going to land with all these wide receivers in the mix, but we'll continue to watch it. And, of course, the kicking battle as well. If you have not been in the loop with all the transactions, let's get you caught up now. Josie Jewell, of course, gone. This is not in sequential order, but just so you guys know, because of the concussion symptoms, the Panthers signed Seahawks tight end Taylor Mabry. I did say Noah Fant is working out for New Orleans or on a visit, so something interesting to watch there as he was just released. But you bring in Mabry, who has experience with Canales and tight end Coach McPherson here. Tommy Trimble on the pup, Dan Jacinta on the pup, Bobby Brown on NFI, non-football injury, and same thing with Sam Martin. But it sounds like at least outside of Chisna, that most of these guys should be okay working their way back in. We talked about Trey Swelling being signed, Ethan Gabers being waived, J.J. Weaver was brought in, rookie out of Kentucky, had some really good highlights I went back and looked at him. And then Amari Barno, of course, waived in the corresponding transaction. Then some additional cornerback depth, like we've been wanting cornerbacks, no safety. So the Panthers, at least for now, seem to be okay with their safety room. We'll see how that pans out. But Mello Dotson, a rookie brought in, and MJ Devonshire was waived. And those are all the transactions as of right now for your Carolina Panthers. So it is very early on, man. It's early. It's fun. It's exciting. And you know what? I can't wait to actually see some football. The Hall of Fame game coming back this week, Thursday, and then we get football every week for I don't know how many weeks is that? Months, 5-6 months. College football is around the corner for all our college football fans. Anyways, folks, that's going to do it for today's episode. This is Carolina Dad. Y'all have a good one.